Hello there folks and welcome back to the Formula 1 2014 Ferrari career mode on the Xbox One. Today it is time for race 10 of the 2014 season. Today it's the German Grand Prix, the Formula 1 Grosse Prix Santander von Deutschland 2014. Yeah, my German accent is definitely one to be worked on, but situated in the Rhine Valley, Hockenheim ring is one of the most atmospheric races on the calendar, consisting of 17 corners, several short straights and a long back straight, which provides overtaking opportunities. The circuit is virtually flat. That's an interesting one. Hockenheim is easy on both brakes and tyres, yet requires a well set up car with medium to high downforce. I do like Hockenheim. It's a great run of races, I've said before, between Canada and really Singapore. That's the first race, Singapore, that I'm not so keen on in that big run. But let's have a look at the standings before we go ahead in the race that marks, I believe, the midpoint of the season. I don't think there's 20. There might be 20 races. No, there's only 19. So I guess technically midway into Silverstone was the half point of the season, but oh well, I'm not really too bothered. But the championship standings still look very interesting. Amazingly, Nico Rosberg has been blitzed by his teammate Lewis Hamilton. There is only one man in the title battle at the moment. 9 races gone and Lewis is 50 points ahead of Nico Rosberg. Rosberg is 9 points ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, and then similar to last race, the two Ferraris, myself and Fernando, are still in that Red Bull sandwich. Ricciardo leads 110 points. Alonso is 10 points back with 100. We're only 1 point back from our teammate, which is a fantastic achievement. Definitely propped up though by those 2 victories we took in Austria and in Monaco. And then Sebastian Vettel is next on 94 points. Even more surprising is that the Force Indias take 7 and 8 with 45 and 40 points. The Williams haven't really done too much this year. 37 points for Bottas, he leads Massa by 9 points, and Kevin Magnussen leads Jenson Button by exactly the same amount of points. A smattering of points for Kvyat, Gutierrez, Grosjean, Maldonado and John-Eric Verne, but Adrian Suttle and the 4 guys at the back still yet to score. So that leaves us third in the Constructors, 5 points behind the Red Bull team. Force India are way ahead at the moment of Williams and McLaren. Unless Williams or McLaren have a really good race, I can't see them going ahead of Force India anytime soon. And equally at the top, Mercedes are starting to pull away now, 84 points clear of anybody. That's basically 2 race wins in a second, so 2-1-2s, not really going to happen. So I think it's not a surprise Mercedes are going to win the Constructors, but we are only 5 points behind Red Bull in the Constructors, so we can definitely pounce on that. But it's Sebastian Vettel's home race, Nico Rosberg's home race, and both of them with work to do. But without any further ado, here is the 2014 German Grand Prix. Not a bad bank lap in Q1, but as you can see, we're quite a way off the pace. A second off the lap time Daniel Ricciardo was set. We'll do a few more laps, though, in Q1. Hopefully get up to speed. But as long as we beat the bottom 60, we've got no problem with getting through. And that looks to be something that we're fairly competent in doing. Thank God Daniel Kvyat moved out of the way there, else that could have been a disaster. But that was my first lap around the German Grand Prix circuit, plus the fact I am very handicapped today. I've got a plaster on my right thumb, and if you don't know, I use the right thumb to change gear. So I'm going to blame that if I have a bad race today. But yeah, we're not too good on this lap. I mean, that was a shocking entry there. And yeah, we've probably got 2 more laps on the fuel load. So we're just going to slow down, let our teammate go. That would only be fair. And see what we can do in the next 2 laps. But we should be through to Q2. There shouldn't be much problem unless the field improves rapidly. Nico Rosberg then, the pace setter in Q1. Daniel Ricciardo second and Lewis Hamilton in third. Our teammate up in fourth, but we're not quite on the pace yet. Luckily, we're through with some ease really to Q2. 1.2 seconds better than the lap time of Esteban Gutierrez. Jules Bianchi leads the 4 guys at the back. And it was very close, but Esteban Gutierrez beat Maldonado, and they both go out at the Q1 stage. The other loads of Grosjean gets through, but yeah, we've got a little bit of time to improve. I mean, even half a second just to beat both of the McLaren cars, so we've got a lot of time to gain. We're losing a hell of a lot of time in Sector 3 for some reason. Our time in Sector 1 is actually the fastest of the bunch, and then we just seem to lose lap time over the other 2 sectors. So not exactly sure why that's happening. Hopefully we'll get some sort of epiphany in the next few laps, but we should be okay to get through to Q3, bear in mind that a few of those runners were on the option tyres, and we're going to take those on now, and maybe that extra grip might well help us out in Q3 as well. Let's see how we get on. Well, that's already far better than what we've done in Q1. That's absolutely outstanding. Just behind our teammate, Nico Rosberg, he's on fire. I'm not surprised because it is his home circuit, the Hockenheim ring. He loves this track. But in Sector 1, that is a blinding Sector 1. That's really helping us on the rest of the lap. But it's Sector 3 where we're still losing a little bit of time. Don't actually know where we lost the time on that lap in particular, but I guess we still lost a little bit in Sector 3. But that top lap time alone, I would guess, would get us through into Q3. But we're not going to take any more chances. We've got a few laps of fuel left, so we might as well keep pushing, see what this car is capable of, and then see what our potential is for Q3. Well, this isn't too bad compared to Q1, is it? Lewis Hamilton still hasn't set a lap time yet. It's going to be good enough to get him out of Q2. Absolutely no idea what's going on there. But if you look at our pace, we're 2 tenths off Rosberg in Sector 1. Pretty much even with him in Sector 2. And then in Sector 3, we lose 7 tenths per second. Our theoretical personal best is a 16.8, which might well suggest that perhaps our third sector time on our most recent lap was absolutely dreadful. But yeah, we're a long way off Nico Rosberg, set an absolutely monstrous lap. That's proven by Hamilton, who can't even get within 8 tenths of that. Is quite a mighty lap. But we've got in quite nicely between those two Mercedes cars, the 2 Red Bulls and Fernando. So that's really pleased to see, considering I didn't think we'd got much pace. But in Q2, interestingly, both the McLaren cars drop out. The Toro Rosso, both Toro Rossos actually, Kvyat and John-Eric Verne. Romain Grosjean, the slowest guy in the session, is Adrian Sutil. So both Williams, both Force India, both Ferrari, both Red Bull and both Mercedes through to Q3, which is quite odd because there's not been a qualifying session like this for some time. It's been completely normal. There's always been some sort of shock or somebody a bit further down the grid. So this is going to be a 1 or 2 lap shootout at the end of the session. This is going to be quite exciting. Can Rosberg keep that monstrous pace? But if he can, he's got to be, well, odds-on favourite to win the race. And maybe can we mix it and get it on the front row? But very exciting pace. A lot of potential in Q3. Let's see if we can go and match that time in the last qualifying session. And the question is as well, what else have the Red Bulls got to offer? So here's our banker lap in Q3 now. I'm trying to work out where we're losing all this time in Sector 3. We've got quite a conservative target really of 7th. So there's not much pressure on us, certainly considering the pace we got in the last session. But let's see where we're losing all this time. I've got a funny feeling it's around this last corner. But if you look at the guided line, it's just to floor it through here. 17.2 was our best lap time before. We're not going to get anywhere near that. But it doesn't matter because it's a banker lap. 17.8, not too bad. But I don't feel like we've lost a hell of a lot of time in that last sector. So I'm really struggling to see where we're losing that in comparison to the rest of the field. No surprise that it wasn't the best lap in the world. We've definitely got to improve on that. And we certainly can. We know we've got the pace. So we've just got to keep our focus. A lot of head scratching to be done here. We're way off. We're absolutely way off. 9th place at the moment. The biggest head scratch is Rosberg's down in 7th. The pace setter all weekend. Nico Hülkenberg up in 3rd. That's quite incredible. But if the Force India can do that, then surely we can do that. But we've just not hooked it up so far. Let's have a quick look at the sector time. So Sector 1 we're a little bit off. Sector 2 we've actually done a brilliant job. But Sector 3, once again, I mean 23.9. We can't seem to better that. Well, we're going to have to if we're going to get anywhere up the grid. But a mighty lap from Vettel. I wondered what the Red Bulls could do. Either side of the top 10, funnily enough. 1st and 10th at the moment. But going to have to get out there, do a few more laps, and hopefully get a few more places up the grid. I mean, it's 10th at the moment. That's nowhere to start, really. We'll struggle to gain any serious ground. We've got some real pace earlier as well. So 3 minutes and 40 left. So we've got the fuel and the time to do 3 more laps. And hopefully one of those will be good enough for at least the top 7. Well, this first lap feels really promising. We are just off Sebastian Vettel's time. If only we could get our Sector 3 right, we'd be well up there. But again, I just don't know where we're losing that time. But we'll worry about that later. We'll just take the normal lines we do through here. Put the foot down. Maybe cut that corner a little bit. But this is going to be far better, surely, than our previous times. What's it going to be? It's P2. Well, that's quite remarkable, really. 6 tenths up, but that's the difference between the 5th row and the front row. Wow. Wow, wow. Well, I mean, after all this, imagine if neither of the Mercedes cars are on the front row. That would be quite the bombshell. I mean, 3 tenths off in Sector 1, so this lap time might well be cut and dry to be not as good as our previous. But our first 1:16 of the weekend, if we can start on the front row alongside Sebastian Vettel, that would be a real turn up for the book. I know that was too good to last. Both Mercedes have had a word about that. Well, I presume it's both Mercedes because Alonso's in P8 and I can't think of anybody else that shoot above Rosberg into P2. But Vettel is still the pole sitter at the moment. This is our last chance to get anywhere above Rosberg and Hamilton. But I firmly believe that where we've got to is a real good effort, especially considering Alonso is a long way further down. But let's have a look, see if we can improve at all. We are indeed purple in Sector 2. Can we get that into Sector 3? Really pushing and taking every single curb as much as we can here. Come on. Penultimate corner time. I don't know what Rosberg and Hamilton's lap times are. That was really poor through there. That's not going to help our lap time at all. I think that might well be it. I don't think we're going to improve at all. We do improve slightly. But fourth place in the end. That's absolutely fantastic. Fernando really underperforming in the end. Only P8 for him. But Sebastian Vettel takes pole. I mean, they're German, but it wasn't the German I was expected to take pole in this race. That's for certain. Lewis Hamilton out-qualifies his teammate in the end. And that's amazing considering that Nico Rosberg was the pace man all weekend. Daniel Ricciardo lines up just behind us, and a brilliant performance once again from Nico Hülkenberg. He's had some really outstanding qualifying performances this year. Fernando is between the two Williams on the fourth row on the grid, and then Sergio Perez completes the top 10. But this is going to be an exciting race, plus the fact we know we've got some pace, so this could be tasty. Sebastian Vettel pole, then the two Mercedes, and then it is us. This is a good chance, especially if the top three start scrapping. We can really get into that scrap. And who knows what Fernando can do from P8. Our expectation is to win the race today. I don't think that's going to happen. But I suppose you just never know. The 5 lights are on above the drivers. And it's lights out. And away we go for the 2014 German Grand Prix. A good standard start really from Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton going on the aggressive straight away. And into the first corner, everybody just seemed to brake, and we're ahead of the two Mercedes already. We went on the outside line, and that was far better than any other line. We're going to chuck it up the inside of Sebastian Vettel coming into turn 2. Oh, we touch wheels with Vettel. We go a little bit wide, but we've made sure that we've had a brilliant start, and we've jumped it up into first place. That is a huge shock. Our teammate Alonso seeming to make up 3 positions on the start as well. He's up to P5. We're up to P1. What a fantastic start for us. We're always good on the starts because unfortunately on this game the AI aren't too brilliant at the start, but I do not know what they were doing there. They practically braked for that first corner where, okay, it's not exactly full throttle, but at least a sort of 150 mile an hour corner, but they're just all completely worried into it, especially the two Mercedes. They were way off. So we lead this Grand Prix. Vettel's in second, Hamilton third, Rosberg fourth, Alonso fifth. So the top 4 has only changed in that we've carved through it into first place. But this is really exciting. Let's see if we can gap Lewis and Vettel. I mean, they're quite close together, so I might start scrapping for second place. But equally, we haven't shook off Sebastian Vettel yet, so let's see how we get on. Well, I do apologise. It's not Nico Rosberg in fourth. It's in fact Daniel Ricciardo. Rosberg had such a bad start that he's down to 6th place from 3rd on the grid. That is a complete shocker. I mean, I was expecting him, if I was placing a bet on the race at the end of Q2, I'd have said, yep, Rosberg to absolutely run away with this. But, I mean, is he even going to get a podium at this point? Nico Rosberg down in 6th place. That is quite incredible. But 35 points for our team so far. 30 points for Red Bull. So 5 points we'll gain in the Constructors. We're, 6 points behind them. But, of course, a long way to go yet. And we're certainly not the pace man in this field. But, as you know, track position is usually everything. And look at those skies. There's no chance of rain, but it's certainly an overcast day. So, who knows? There's no chance of rain, but, well, if it starts falling, then those no chances are going to be wrong. Another place Fernando's made up there. That's fantastic to see. He's into P4. That's a really good start from down in P8. But Vettel and Hamilton are scrapping behind. Remember the DRS. Well, that's unfortunate. Rosberg's back up to 4th. Well, how did that happen? Goodness me, I saw Alonso was 4th over the line, but actually he's dropped down to 6th now. Goodness knows how that's happened, but feels like there's been a little bit of a clash between everybody because, as you can see, I mean, Rosberg's into P3 now, so goodness knows what's happened there on the straight for Rosberg to carve through. I mean, he must have just got sick of everybody, not sure what's happened there at all, but there's a real train, and myself and Sebastian Vettel have just completely broken away from it. There's been a lot of scrapping there, and this is only protecting our lead, which is great, and equally, we can do a bit of fuel save, and we've got +2 laps left because we've been in standard, all but the first lap, and this is great. We're protecting our position nicely, and the only man that's going to be a threat to us at the moment, at least, is Sebastian Vettel. Well, this is a bit of a worry. Christ, Vettel's dropped off, and Rosberg's got past him. Rosberg's just the pace man at the moment. I said he was quickest, and we might not have to cash out on that bet just yet. Nico Rosberg in 2nd place, but that might well change again on the straight. It's horrible being at the front, not knowing what's going on behind. I mean, it's a nice problem to have, I suppose. But Vettel's moved ahead of Rosberg. So is Lewis Hamilton. So there's some real cracking scraps going on back there. We'd love to see what's going on, but we need to focus on protecting our lead. And while that's happening, as I said on the last lap, that is exactly what's happening. We're not the fastest man on the circuit. Fastest lap, I think, is from Valtteri Bottas, an 18.2. But as long as these drivers keep slowing each other down, we don't have to be the pace setter. We just need that track position, which we've got. Pit window is open. Time to come in at the end of this lap. We've got a good gap to Sebastian Vettel behind, just over a second, and quite literally just over a second. But 2 threats really to our position at this point, and that of course is the pit stops. There's no right or wrong strategy really, though. There's no perfect strategy certainly, because everyone comes in either this lap or next lap. It just doesn't happen any differently, because one driver from every team comes in this lap, and then on the next lap the opposite driver comes in. So we're going to be held up in some way whatever we do. Secondly, our pace on the prime tyres was never very good. Certainly in Q1, which was the only time I suppose where we tested those tyres out, we were way off the pace. So a little bit of a worry of the lack of grip that the prime tyres might give us, but we'll have to see what lack of grip they do indeed give us. But oh god, that seems to be the option tyres have gone. I mean, goodness me, that grip have completely gone. I've rarely seen anything like this, where the tyres have completely gone before the first stop. In fact, they completely have. We've just completely mucks it up into that corner. We're going to dive back up the inside of Sebastian Vettel. We need that track position going into the pits. That is absolutely ideal. But we're squirming everywhere. The tyres have completely gone at this point, and we're going to get into the pits. Thank God we've pitted this lap, because that could have been a complete disaster. Oh, goodness me. Vettel and Hamilton follow us in. So it's going to be Rosberg who leads at the moment. Are we going to be held up? I'm a little bit worried, especially about that Williams. That could be a problem. Let's see. Doesn't help that our pit box is a little bit later, but we're out. And we are out ahead of Sebastian Vettel. And of course, Lewis Hamilton. So that is okay, but the second threat here is the overcut. Is somebody going to get the overcut? What's that car coming through that hasn't pitted yet? That's Daniel Kvyat. Shame he couldn't get ahead of Sebastian Vettel. That might gain us some time, but we've certainly gained some time in the pits. That is for certain, because Vettel, of course, was right on our back going into the pits. So I think that gutsy move was the best thing we could have done, even though our tyres are completely gone. That's a little bit of a worry for these primes, though, because they could well go off before the end of the race. And you just saw the drastic change that had there. It was quite unbelievable how we just lost grip. I mean, going into that right-hander at the end of Sector 2, we just expected that grip. We didn't get it. Thank God we didn't get too widely off the track, because that could have been a real problem. But we got back ahead of Vettel. That was crucial. And let's see where we end up at the end of these pit stops. Kevin Magnussen's the man ahead. He's going to be coming at the end of this lap. Fernando Alonso, I think, was next in, pardon me, in 5th place. But let's see if we can jump Nico Rosberg. He's the big man that hasn't pitted. Of course, Daniel Ricciardo as well. But all of these guys are going to be coming to the pits. It's quite encouraging that we're about a second quicker than Kevin Magnussen. Hopefully that's the same for everybody else. But K-Mag 6, Alonso in 4th. So hopefully around these last few corners we can take the advantage and get through. Let's see, we've been on reach, we've been pushing all lap. Can we get past all of these guys in the pits? Seems like we can. A little bit of a cut at the first corner, but that is a fantastic lead we've got. Wow. Those pit stops couldn't have gone any better. That is huge. I'll just wait until they all filter out the pits, and then we'll get a final standings after the pit stops, because a lot of drivers could have lost time, particularly Nico Rosberg. Rosberg comes out in 5th, then Alonso 6th, so not too much different. Jean-Eric Vergne sneaked into the top 10 off. I feel like that's a bit of a shock. Where is Nico Hülkenberg? Well, him and Jenson Button must have had an incident earlier on, because Hülkenberg, of course, qualified in, I think it was 7th. It was certainly above Fernando Alonso, but he's way down at the moment. We're purple in Sector 1, and 2 seconds clear Sebastian Vettel. This is going really well. So I guess it could start to all go... What's the word? Well, let's just say it might start going wrong in a few laps' time. Well, luckily, it's been a fairly quiet stint up to yet, but we are starting to lose a little bit of pace on our prime tyres. Hopefully, the drastic come down that the option tyres had, because we have actually got Hamilton and Rosberg right behind us now. We all know from previous races how good the Mercedes drivers are on those prime tyres compared to the rest of the grid. And Hamilton's right behind us now, but unless he makes a move on the inside, clearly track position is going to be king here. But Sebastian Vettel also in this race for the front, so with 2 laps to go, it could really be anybody's of that top 4. Nice to see that Alonso is ahead of Daniel Ricciardo. Presume Ricciardo is in 6th. Yes, he is. So we've got the better of both Red Bulls today. That will propel us into 2nd in the Constructors, which is fantastic. But at least those guys have gone away a little bit now. Just Hamilton, Rosberg and Vettel scrapping between themselves, and Vettel has retook that podium place. There's a battle between the 2 Germans for 3rd at their home race, but it's a battle between the 2 Brits for superiority as well at the front now. I never expected to win this race, to be honest. Even coming into the race, you know, into the first lap sort of thing, we were a little bit too far off the pace. But as long as you qualify in contention, and fourth was definitely in contention, you've got a chance. Particularly given the shocking start that the rest of the field had. Our tyres are really starting to lose grip now, so it might well be worth just putting the rich fuel mix on and just trying to take everything we can and not be too crazy out of corners, because we could lose this win. We've led for all of the race. It's been a lights to flag finish, certainly from sector 2 of lap 1 anyway. And that's something that is really good. It just makes me wonder now whether in Canada, of course, where we got that penalty, that 20-second penalty, and finished 11th, if we'd have won that race, what the championship standings would look like. That would give us, what, 4 wins out of the last 5 races? Monaco, Canada, Austria, 6th place in Silverstone and a win here. But this race is not over yet. We're half a second ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Vettel in 3rd, Rosberg in 4th. Alonso getting into this a little bit now, but hopefully we should be able to hold our position unless anybody goes for a late dive, or of course we make a late mistake. We've got to make sure we don't do that, because that could be really costly in the championship standings. And much like that Canada moment, one to regret for the rest of the season. Our tyres are falling off, but hopefully we'll have the grip we need for the next few corners to come across the line and win the German Grand Prix. Come on, right. Hamilton's just behind. I don't think there are any more overtaking opportunities, as I said, unless we get it wrong and bin it in the gravel. Half a second is the gap. We've kept that for quite a while now. Fine through that right-hander that we struggled at before our first pit stop. But just a few corners to go now into the left-hander. All good in the hairpin. The left-hander. Now for the penultimate corner. We're safe, I think. Hamilton's nowhere near. We go a little bit wide, but it doesn't really matter. And through the last corner, I don't care if we cut it a little bit. We win the German Grand Prix. What a win. That takes us up to 3 wins this season now. Monaco, Austria, Germany. We've won every other race for the last 5 races. As you can see, we were not the pace man today. Nico Rosberg was the man on the pace. But it didn't matter. In fact, we were 10th quickest. But we kept our position. We started well. And that is key. And it's also takes home the 25 points though. That is the key stat. We have won the race. So British 1-2. Hamilton finishes 2nd. Sebastian Vettel 3rd. And peculiar that Hockenheim from 6th couldn't finish it. I'm not really sure what happened to Nico in the end. But no real shocks there. And we have moved up now to 3rd in the championship. And only 7 points behind Nico Rosberg. That is quite believable. Well, it is quite believable, I suppose. But it is quite unbelievable, really. Hockenheim didn't get any points this race. So Valtteri Bottas has now split the 2 Force Indias. Bottas got 8 points today. So that'll definitely help him out. I think it was 8 points. No, he must have finished 7th. He wouldn't have got in that top 6, would he? But we do now move above Red Bull by 7 points. We're not going to catch Mercedes. That's just not going to happen. But we've definitely got a good stronghold in this battle for 2nd in the Constructors. And absolutely fantastic. To only be 7 points behind Nico Rosberg. That is unbelievable. But another win. Great for us. And we've took our opportunity well there. Excellent stuff. So park firm A it is then. We get out of our car. Lift the visor and cheer. We have won the German Grand Prix. A race that Ferrari, of course, love to win. The Schumacher link. Hamilton congratulates us on the win. 2 Brits, 1st and 2nd. Sebastian Vettel in 3rd. 3 teams on the podium. Absolutely fantastic stuff. 3 wins, as it says there on the player statistics. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy that, but I'll say something. I did not expect that whatsoever. Quite unbelievable. Only one of our wins has come from pole. That 2nd pole we got in Canada. Well, don't need to tell you any more about that. We've got a contract offer. Oh, yikes. Do we jump ship? Red Bull like the look of us. Well, I don't know what to think of that. Because the Red Bull is the 2nd fastest car. Definitely. If we get that Red Bull and we push it to its full potential, can we win the championship? I can't see it. But if we don't go for this, we will regret it. I'm going to leave it at that bombshell. You'll find out next time. Have we jumped ship? Have we moved to our rivals Red Bull? Or have we stayed put with a Scuderia? Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. You can show that gratitude by leaving a like down below. Comment your thoughts as well and subscribe for 2 episodes of the Formula 1 Career a Week on a Tuesday. Today, of course, and on a Saturday. But until the next time, take care. Still keep staying safe, please. Please, please, please. But until the next time, thank you very much for watching. And I will see you guys next time. Goodbye for now.